Standing money present.
勝負で鼻折られましたね。
鼻折られましたが、もう一点ピアボールクロック4回目。さあどうだ。あまりにも厳しすぎるピアボールクロック。足4のじゃがっちりと今度はどうでしょうマスター。かかり具合は左足がないですね。完璧に
これだけね、何回もね、右方入られると、
決まったさすがのノートンムキバップ。第24代チャンピオン誕生。
Y'all niggas wanna do. We got the real live shit from front to back. To my people in the world, where the fuck you at?
On January 4th, 1999, Masahiro Chono would leave the stable he himself helped create all the way back in 1996. The reason? Keiji Muto, someone who Chono and his group helped recruit into NWO Japan, was changing the direction of the group that leader Chono did not agree with. But Chono himself couldn't do anything about it, as he was sidelined with a neck injury in September of 1998 that took him off for the rest of the year, and made him vacate the IWGP title, a title he had finally won for the first time at the Osaka Dome on August 8th. Keiji Muto would then proceed to take over the group as leader, and from there would turn the group into more of a tweener stable as opposed to a heel one. During this time, Scott Norton would win the IWGP title against Yuji Nagata on September 23rd, and from there, Muto would find himself challenging Norton for the title on January 4th, 1999, after winning the Super Grade Tag League with tag partner Satoshi Gojima. In the back after the win, Muto and Norton would then proceed to agree to the match.
Oh, I beat you, Tokyo Dome. You beat me, Tokyo Dome. Muto-san, after tonight, you and I at the Tokyo Dome will be one hell of a match.
Whilst in theory, this was supposed to be a friendly match, Masahiro Chono, who was watching live on commentary, was not at all happy with this match. He was already furious with the change of direction, and now, Keiji Muto, who was winning the IWGP title against a fellow stablemate, to Chono, this likely felt like a coup, and something he could not stand. And so, after that night, he would leave NWO Japan, and from there, formulate a plan to get revenge on Muto.
武藤選手自身はですね、自分にとっては今日の戦いは何のメリットもないし、ある意味ではあまり大きなものではないと、自分にとってそんなコメントも残してました。
そうかもしれないですよね。俺にとってももしかしたら大きな問題じゃないかもしれないしね。彼らの助けなんていうのは一緒にやっていくってこと自体が必要でないかもしれないし、だからまあやっぱ自分99年ね、今年 どういう形で走っていくかっていうことを自分の中で整理したいと、それに関わってくる人間であるんであればね、形がどうなるかわからないけど白黒はつけようやと。
ズバリ今日の試合についてお願いします。
Hey, Muto! You fuck you now! You fuck of NWO! What do you know, yeah? What do you know, NWO?
The plan? Face Muto and a partner from NWO Japan on February 5th at the Nakajima Sports Center. But why? Why a handicap match? Was Chono insane? What was his plan? Sure, he's one of the best wrestlers on the roster, but he can't defeat a whole faction by himself. And throughout the rest of the match, this would hold true. Whilst Chono would have tricks up his sleeve, he couldn't beat the team of Saito and Muto alone. And then, his real plan was revealed.
まさか長野と武藤と戦うと思っていませんでしたから。
おっとここで誰だ、金髪の顔面ペイントをしている選手なんですが、おっとこのフライングボディープレスは
Akira Nogami, a mid-carder who had been injured the year previous, would come down to the ring and help Chono. The surprise attack would leave Muto bloody, and from there, chaos would ensue.
We got the real live shit from front to back. To my people in the world, where the fuck you at? Where my niggas is at? Where my niggas is at? Where the fuck my bitches at? Where my bitches is at? We got the real live shit from front to back. To my people in the world, where the fuck you at? Where my niggas is at? Where my niggas is at? Where the fuck my bitches at? Where my bitches is at?
In a commission, you ask for permission to hit him. He don't like me, hit him while wifey was with him. You heard of us, the murderous, most shady. Been on the low lately, the feds hate me. The son of Satan, they say my killing's too blatant. You hesitating, I'm in your mama crib waiting. Duct taping, your fam, destiny lays in my hands. Gat lays in my waist. Francis, M to the is phenomenal. Gun rest under your vest, by the abdominal. Rhyme a few bars so I can rhyme.
In the end, the match had to be thrown out, but this match sent a message. Chono wasn't alone in his fight against the NWO, and it appeared that a war was brewing. The next day, on the 6th of February, the first true fight of this war would begin. Akira Nogami, now going by Akira, and Masahiro Chono would face off against Satoshi Kojima and Keiji Muto of NWO Japan. The match was a wild brawl filled with entertaining action, and I actually would recommend watching this yourself. It's available on NJPW World. the result of this match was the most important part of the match. After hitting a Frankensteiner on Akira, Muto, now bloodied, with the wound he received the previous night coming back, would be taken advantage of by Chono, as Chono would hit multiple kicks, and then proceed to lock in a butterfly lock. Whilst Muto wouldn't tap, Akira would then hit a massive splash right afterwards. Chono would then cover, but only get a 2 count. From there, the match was about over, as Muto didn't have enough energy left in the tank, allowing Muto to take him to the ground and lock back in the butterfly lock. With Kojima occupied with Akira on the floor, Muto would have no choice but to tap. In just 2 nights, Chono would introduce a new partner, and then would submit the leader of NWO Japan. After this night, the message was sent. Chono was coming for NWO Japan, and NJPW as a whole, and good luck trying to stop him and his new best friend. Meanwhile, outside of Chono and Muto's ever hate-filled rivalry, how was the rest of NWO Japan holding up? And, as well, who was Muto's first title challenger going to be? Well, outside of Muto, Scott Norton and Hiro Saito will be in the mid-card, upper mid-card. Norton in particular will face off against Masa Saito, famous New Japan Pro Wrestling legend, on February 14th, in Masa Saito's retirement match. Meanwhile, Tenkoji, or Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and Satoshi Kojima, who are the current IWGP Tag Champions, will defend their belts on February 5th, the same show as the handicap match, and the main event against Manabu Nakanishi and Yuji Nagata, retained the tag belts in 18 minutes, and was actually a pretty solid match. As far as Muto's IWGP title defense, that would be against Kensuke Sasaki. Kensuke Sasaki, a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and actually G1 Climax winner, will win a number 1 contendership tournament, defeating Satoshi Kojima in the final. The two men will square off against each other on February 14th. Meanwhile, what is Chono and Akira doing? Well, they themselves would also be booked on February 14th, facing off against NWO Japan members Hiroyoshi Tenzan, Satoshi Kojima, and Hiro Saito. So, with the stage set, it is now time for us to travel to February 14th, as NJPW presents St. Valentine's Day Massacre. On St. Valentine's Day Massacre, NWO Japan would have 2 strong showings. Scott and Norton would defeat Masa Saito in Saito's retirement match. Meanwhile, Keiji Muto would retain his IWGP title against Kensuke Sasaki in a match I would actually recommend you watching, as I personally found it quite enjoyable. However, despite the 2 strong positives, something happens to the group that again would leave them reeling. Former NWO Japan stable member NWO Sting, and yes, that was his real name, and yes, he is a fake Sting from WCW, but he's actually not bad here, so shut up. Would leave NWO Japan. It would instead join Masahiro Chono and Akira, with the group being NWO Japan in 17 minutes. Within just a month, Chono would not only have a new partner, but also would end up gaining a stable member of NWO Japan to change allegiances. However, despite all the drama, and despite all the ongoing tension, one question remains. What is next in this saga? Well, I am quite happy you should ask. NWO Japan and Team 2000 will end up having a series of tag matches either against each other or facing off against various teams throughout March. Here are the results, because this is the filler part of the video. Starting off, Team 2000. On March 3rd, Akira, Chono, and NWO Sting will defeat Big Titan, Hiro Saito, and Hiroyoshi Tenzan. On the 6th, Team 2000 will be Manabu Nakanishi, Shiroko Shinaka, and Yuji Nagata. On the 17th, Team 2000 will defeat Kensuke Sasaki, Manabu Nakanishi, and Shiroko Shinaka. Despite the regular army in New Japan leveling up from Yuji Nagata to Kensuke, they still couldn't win. On the 20th, Team 2000 would face off against Jushin Liger, Kazuo Yamazaki, and Tatsuya Fujinami, and Team 2000 would win. Meanwhile, for NWO Japan, on the 3rd, Muto and Satoshi Kojima would lose against Kensuke Sasaki and Shiroko Shinaka. On the 6th, Tenzan, Muto, and Kojima would defeat Kensuke Sasaki, Tadao Yoshida, and Tatsumi Fujinami. On the 17th, Keiji Muto and Satoshi Kojima would defeat Kazuo Yamazaki, and Yuji Nagata. On the 20th, Keiji Muto and Satoshi Kojima would lose to Kensuke Sasaki and Yuji Nagata. And finally, on the 22nd, Team 2000 would defeat NWO Japan members Big Titan, Hiro Saito, and Keiji Muto after the... wait a minute. Don Fry would join Team 2000 after he attacked NWO Japan members outside of the ring during the main event. And as well, on this night, Tenkoji would lose their tag belts against the oddball pairing of Kensuke Sasaki and Shiroko Shinaka. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of the 22nd show, so please take this as a consolation prize for having to hear this annoying announcer voice. But regardless, just know that on April 10th, 1989, New Japan will have a Tokyo Dome show. Keiji Muto will face off against Don Fry. Meanwhile, Tenkoji will face off against Manabu Nakanishi and Yuji Nagata. And Chono, well, who does Chono face? Atsushi Onita, Deathmatch Wrestling King, a liar, a con man, a piece of shit, has dared to join the greatest wrestling promotion in all of Japan. This indie garbage has decided to infect the Sacred Lion Ring and implement his dirty, unorthodox, evil ways into New Japan. He first made his debut for the promotion on January 4th, facing off against Kensuke Sasaki, the match ending by DQ, as after a pretty fucking fun match, Onita would fire a fireball right into Kensuke Sasaki's face, causing referee Katetsu Yamamoto, a trainer at New Japan's dojo, to ring the bell. Afterwards, Onita wouldn't be seen again until St. Valentine's Day Massacre. As there, he would storm into the ring, asking for a match against the IWGP champion. However, plans would change, as he'd appear on the 3rd of March, interfering in the ring with Chono present. Onita would then proceed to attack Chono, and thus, their April 10th match would be set. Even though Onita did not fit the mold of a traditional NJPW wrestler, and in many ways was actually everything NJPW was against, which, I agree, Onita was not a New Japan wrestler, and quite frankly is therefore inferior in every way, as he is from an inferior promotion and company. I'm just saying the obvious, quite frankly. Still, he made very entertaining TV, oftentimes beating up commentary Yu Manabe, who'd follow Onita in his escapades. Ultimately though, this is where we will end off on part 1, but on the next part, we will cover the April 10th Dome show, and we move forward on the adventure of Team 2000 and NWO Japan, and their seemingly never-ending war. But, until next time.